55 past the hour, now to the growing political storm over the federal response to Hurricane Helene, which hit the southeast nearly 2 weeks ago. Vice President Harris is calling out former President Trump for false claims he and his allies are spreading about the government's response to the storm.
What just upsets me so is the idea that any politician would play political games with these folks, with people who are in the midst of such suffering, loss of life, loss of their homes, loss of normalcy, and then for the sake of political gain, tell these lies in a way that is meant to make people distrust the help that is there for them to receive.
Yeah, I mean, look, the former president and his allies claim the Biden administration has taken disaster relief funds to pay for housing undocumented immigrants, which isn't true. FEMA says money comes from a separate government funding channel. Joining us now, former Florida Republican Congressman Carlos Curbelo. Carlos, it's great to see you. So, what's just, I don't know what even to describe it, but even in storms, when you have 200 plus people who have lost their lives in Helene, even then, you gotta play politics.
It just shows you how far we've fallen. I remember in 2017, Hurricane Irma devastated my district in the Florida Keys and then came up the whole peninsula. After the storm, Kevin McCarthy, who was a Republican leader in the House, Steny Hoyer, the Democratic leader in the House, came together to my district to send a message to make sure that the federal agencies were doing all they could to help people recover. That's what we should see after storms. I mean, you have to think about this also. People have lost their homes. Some people have lost relatives. They've lost all their belongings. The last thing they want to hear is politicians trying to make some hay out of their suffering and out of all the destruction.
Look, there are things that you can point to and possibly criticize about the federal government's time and the timing.
Disaster response is never perfect because it's difficult.
And you know, it may have been slow in some parts and not as much in others. But how do we? Is there no going back to that civility that you referred to?
Look, I think President Biden made an effort the other day. He was asked about Governor DeSantis, who, they don't have the best of relationships. And President Biden said, the governor's doing the best he can. We're doing the best we can. And that's the bottom line. This is a very difficult situation, and Florida's about to go through it again. I know you'll be covering it, Jose. And what we need is for people to come together and make sure there's very strong coordination between federal, state, and local government officials.
Yeah, and I mean, and President Biden was very clear, and yesterday, and when he spoke, he was just very clear. And hey, we're working together, and any call I get, I've given.
I think he has sent the right message. I think obviously, former President Trump is doing all he can to politicize this situation. And frankly, I think Vice President Harris and that whole confusion or situation between her call to Governor DeSantis, I mean, I think President Biden is the one who has hit the right tone here with this issue.
Carlos, and just back to just here talking, but this state is so, in many ways, unique in our country, is how it deals with these kinds of events, pre-planning, moments before and moments after. Why is it that this state is so different?
Well, also, we're battle-tested here. Ever since Hurricane Andrew in 1992, Florida updated its, construction.
The building codes were changed, even though they were already.
And sadly, we've just become really good at it. The power companies here are always ready. They have all their assets prepared to move forward. So it's a product of experience.
Carlos Curbelo, thank you very much.